Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Four Corner Sports. I'm your host, Brandon Pockers, joined by Zach Maddock, Austin Kane, and Gabe Arena. Sorry for the long hiatus. All of us been very busy, but we're very excited to be back and give you another episode of our show. So to jump right into the news, there was a bombshell today. Patrick Mahomes got a $503 million contract. Not only is that the biggest deal by a wide margin in NFL history, it is also the biggest deal in professional sports history. So to get right into it, I'm going to toss to my co-host. Obviously, we think Mahomes is worth this deal, right? And I want to hear your guys' opinions on really what the basis of this is now. So, like, how are teams going to move forward after seeing the Chiefs executing this deal?
I mean, I think we all saw this coming. We knew eventually Mahomes was going to get a deal. I didn't think we thought it was going to be this year, possibly into next year. We knew a deal was coming, but this is one of huge magnitude. And we thought 45 million, 47 million a year, but I mean, 503 is the finishing total, is a lot of money. And it really just bombshelled everything, reset the quarterback market, and it's going to be very interesting to see how teams are able to offer deals like this to other star players that come around like this while navigating a salary cap.
Yeah, agreeing with Maddock, like we knew it was coming. Obviously, they had to lock him up for the future. He's best quarterback in the league right now. You can't let him walk. But yeah, we had no idea when it was going to happen. Happened today. Going forward, you're going to see guys like Watson and Dak ask for a little more money because they probably think they're on the same level as Mahomes. I personally don't, but
yeah, I mean, it was definitely common, as you guys both said. Like, it was something that had to be done 100%. Did I think it would be 10 years, 503 total? No, not even a little bit. I thought that was a lot of money at first, but then you look at his talent and his ability to make throws on the run that we've seen in the past, and his arm strength is just – it's pretty much unmatched, and there's maybe one other quarterback in the league who has that same arm strength as he does, and he's just still so much better. It was definitely something that needed to be done, and glad the Chiefs locked him up for pretty much his career.
I was surprised at the 10 years because, honestly, until I read into it today, looking at it, I didn't think a 10-year deal in the NFL existed. Reading in today, I found out the likes of like McNabb, Favre, and Vick have gotten deals this long themselves. But, I mean, I didn't think a 10-year deal existed. So when I heard 10 years, I was honestly just shell-shocked.
And to build off that, right, with an unprecedented amount of money and a near unprecedented length of a contract, how do we think this is going to impact the Chiefs going forward? Because as good as Mahomes is, the Chiefs still have Chris Jones, who is a perennial all-pro talent on defense. They have Tyreek Hill, who is a speed demon, probably the fastest guy in the league, and also a really good wideout. And they also have Travis Kelce, who is one of the top two, if not the best tight end in the league. So how are they even going to keep a competitive team while they're paying Mahomes this absurd amount of money that he obviously deserves?
I don't think they're going to be able to. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to re-sign Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, let alone the guys on their defense. Just not attainable. It's not going to happen. So eventually we'll see some guys drift off, go to different teams. But, yeah, it's just not possible.
Here's the thing. It's not really stuff like you see plenty of guys, like skill position guys such as like receiver, running back, and tight end. They'll come to the league all the time. Like this draft class, our receiver draft class this past year was one of the deepest we've seen in a long time. And like there's so much talent going on. So if you lose a guy like Tyreek Hill, you can easily replace him in the draft. You lose a guy like Travis Kelce, it might take a couple years, but you can definitely build up a guy to have that kind of level that he has right now.
Yeah.
I mean, so I only see there's one way of this actually working. And basically what's going to need to happen is hopefully I think that they might honestly just tell their defense just to screw off because the Chiefs have shown they can put up 55 points a game and can tell a group of second and third year guys with older vets making the minimum, just kind of saying, just hold them under 35 and we got a good shot. And I think you might see if the Chiefs teams know what they're doing, you can see guys like Kelce and Hill who are bought into this project, maybe taking team-friendly deals to just help cap a little bit. It would take them being helpful a lot and some very good drafting by the GM. I don't know his name, to really keep this team afloat, because as you've seen, most of the recent Super Bowl teams, mind the Patriots, have been with a star quarterback who's still on a team-friendly salary that's still able to make it to the Super Bowl, that plays at a higher level than what he's worth, with other all-pros that have been paid more in other positions. So it'll be interesting to see a team that has their quarterback being known as the highest player in the league trying to work through it and try to pay everyone else. It's going to take great drafting, hopefully some team-friendly deals, and a lot of other stuff to really keep this Chiefs dynasty alive of what they'd like to be at the end of this 10-year contract.
I mean, to build off what Maddox said, I really agree. I think it's going to take excellent drafting and team-friendly deals. When you have a winning culture like Kansas City's had the past few years, guys are going to be more easily bought in. Will they still want their money? Yes, but guys in the NFL put a very high value on winning. And speaking to their draft, I mean, look at their draft. Not this year. I mean, this year was a really good draft, but last year, when Tyreek Hill was iffy if he was going to be back playing or not, what did the Chiefs do? Oh, they just went out and drafted Mecole Hardman, a speed threat that can maybe not do the exact things Tyreek does, because he's such a once-in-a-generation type speed talent, but he has a very high level of speed. And once they put them both together, look, now it's two weapons on offense that we have. I trust the Chiefs as an organization, especially with Andy Reid as coach too, to just keep building and essentially establishing a new dynasty in the AFC. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes for them in the future. But moving on, now this contract affects more than just the Chiefs. There's two more quarterbacks, three if you want to count Lamar Jackson, but I feel like he's a little more down the line.
Yeah.
You have two more quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott who are up for contracts. Watson, who has seen his team absolutely just shelled. I mean, he lost Hopkins. His team lost a bunch of draft picks. Yeah, they brought guys in, but not to the caliber of the other guys. And then you have Dak Prescott, who, while he did sign his franchise tag for a good amount of money, he wants that big extension. Now, tossing it back to you guys, do we think that Watson or Prescott could even approach those numbers? I feel like they could, but the other part of the question is, are they worth it? And Austin, I'll start with you.
I think the highest they'll get will be maybe Watson to 40. I don't think Dak's worth 40. I think Watson's a little bit, maybe much better than Dak. So I don't think Dak gets anywhere near there. Watson maybe up to 40. But I also think Watson could very well leave the organization because they've done nothing for him at all. They're tied up with J.J. Watt still, who's getting older, getting hurt more often. So they haven't really helped him at all. And they just traded his number one target for every year he's been in the league. So that doesn't help.
I think that, first off, what's Wilson's contract at per year? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
I don't know the years, but he's making $35 million a year.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, maybe Watson could be in between them, but Dak Prescott has no business being anywhere near that at the moment. He's just lucky he's in a great market with a good team, and really he's got a stranglehold on Jerry Jones and everything. They're like, the Cowboys fans love me. Honestly, you're either going to be making me happy or them pissed, so make your choice. He's nowhere near even what his franchise tag is going to be worth paying to him. He's going to get a good deal, or he's going to walk and get a deal somewhere else. I mean, we saw Kirk Cousins do this 3 years ago, and get a fully guaranteed contract. Like, other teams will pay for a good quarterback. It might not be worth it to the Cowboys. Say, okay, we can find another Dak Prescott in the fourth round and remake him. Well, not instead of paying and then pay another skill position player on the defense where they could absolutely need some help and put a new quarterback in a system that works. It's going to be interesting to see. Watson deserves to get paid, but, I mean, I wouldn't want to stay in Houston with what's going on. Like, I can't believe that the D-Hop trade shocked everybody, and, like, it was just idiotic. Like, I have no other words to describe it. Like, I wouldn't stay in Houston at that point. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm like, okay, New England's going to open up in a year. I might as well try and see if I can force a trade there, or in two years, if they're going to keep paying you a huge franchise tag, take it. Eventually they can't walk out and you're going to make a whole bunch of money somewhere else.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm kind of disagree with you guys. I don't think Deshaun Watson's gonna be making more than Russell Wilson does. I like Deshaun Watson's good, but I don't think he's teach Russell Wilson great. There are three quarterbacks I would consider part of the elite, and none of them are Deshaun Watson. So I wouldn't maybe not more than $32 million a year. Dak, like franchise tag him, whatever. I think Cowboys should pay him. Like he hasn't proven anything really other than his rookie season. So like might as well pay him for mediocrity for the next 6-7 years. So that's just
you're saying that as an Eagles fan.
I am, but I do not think he should be getting a lot of money because I don't think he's worth that much money.
I'm not saying that Watson should make more than Wilson, but with the markets, I mean, you see it every year. I mean, you see it a couple years ago it was Stafford resetting the market, then Breeze. I mean, it just happens as new quarterbacks get new deals, they get to reset the market to whatever they think. I don't think that Watson should be making more than Wilson, but with the market and everything's going on, that's why he has the opportunity to.
I'm going to take a stance more, I think, with Austin and Madden, where with Prescott, right? No, I don't think he should be paid upwards of $30 million, right? But when it comes down to it, quarterback is the highest paid position in the NFL.
Always.
No ifs, ands, or buts. So if you have a quarterback that's been working for you, a quarterback that's been fine in your system, you're going to have to overpay in order to keep him there. And contrary to popular belief, developing a quarterback is very hard. Playing quarterback in the NFL is very hard. That's why you see a lot of turnover with these teams at the bottom of the divisions where they got a quarterback, they can't develop him right. So when you have the quarterback on the right development track, it really makes a huge difference. So with the Cowboys, I feel like I want to call it a make or break year for Prescott this year. But playing on that tag, going for that new deal, they finally got rid of Jason Garrett. For me, it's signaling kind of okay, let's see what you can really do. And if he has an above average year, he's going to get that contract. If not, it's more of the same of what you've seen. Now with Deshaun Watson, I just read a tweet from Jacina Anderson. Said, I'm told no serious talks yet between the Texans and Deshaun Watson on contract extension. My understanding is Watson is not in a hurry. So what does that say to me? It says that Watson isn't in a hurry to stay in Texas. I mean, he's not blind. He sees what's going on around here. Watson, he won't be able to stay upright, and he'll end up looking a lot like Ryan Leaf and David Carr, where he's being hurt because the team is being negligent in protecting him, and the team cannot put the right weapons around him. So I think Watson deserves more money than Wilson because I feel like he can do the same things Wilson can do, and because of the nature of the quarterback market being reset. But I mean, we really will have to say.
I guess we'll see this year when Watson doesn't have a top target to throw to. Like his entire career, college and NFL, he's had a top receiver in the country throwing or to throw to. So we'll see how it goes with Brandon Cooks this year.
All the dude does is win, though. I mean, he's won at every single level. That's why I feel like he has that Wilson it factor to it.
He hasn't won anything in the NFL. He's not won one thing in the NFL yet.
He's carried that Houston team to the playoffs.
He's carried
them. Playoffs, nothing.
Playoffs mean nothing. All that matters is that
he almost lost to the Bills in the playoffs last year. If it wasn't for that one run or that one broken tackle in the fourth quarter, they would lose that game.
I mean, it's the playoffs are the playoffs. For God's sakes, the Jets were considered good for a couple years when they made the playoffs, but they didn't win anything. No one cares about almost getting there. They care about winning the thing and showing that you're competitive all the way through. Yes, you can win the, excuse my French, shitty AFC South.
Yes, that is a terrible division.
It's the worst division in football. Yes, you can win that division and be the 3 and 4 seed and maybe pull an upset off of a wild card team. It does not make you a good football team. The thing is, Watson's a great quarterback and he's carrying this team, but unless he's doing it in the playoffs and taking that Texans team to heights they should never be at, they're a quality team that deserves to be a divisional wild card team. That's their standard right now. They should expect nothing less. But they need more help to get there, and now they just took away DeAndre Hopkins. He's throwing to Cooks, a injured Will Fuller who never stays healthy, Kiki Kuti, and some tight end I can't even remember the name of. Like, no,
Don't
it's
worry,
not
he's
gonna
got
work
David
out.
Johnson in the backfield.
Come on now, buddy. David Johnson was finished 3 years ago. That
Once he got
backfield,
started.
huh?
Once he got started, he was finished. I mean,
Yep.
He had one good season.
2-3 good years.
What is it? It's David Johnson, Lamar Miller, and Duke Johnson.
Yeah, it's not a great stable of running backs to
Lamar
have.
Miller's down there?
Lamar Miller, he tore his ACL last year, but he's still down there.
I thought he was in Miami for a while.
He was.
He started in Miami.
Oh, and then he was traded there. Yes.
Yeah, no.
They swapped.
That's right.
Oh, Arian Foster.
Oh, God.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no.
All right, but to move on to our last topic with relating to the Mahomes contract, Gabe posed the interesting question, but while we were brainstorming the show earlier, and I thought it'd be really a great discussion to bring up on the show. Whose career would you rather have, Mike Trout or Patrick Mahomes? Now, I want to hear your guys' opinion before I say mine, but I feel like it's really a toss-up. Like this could go really either way.
Well, I'll start. My first thought was Mahomes because he's making a little more money. Quarterback on a Super Bowl team. He's already won an MVP. I mean, yeah, Trout's won 6, but Trout's not making the playoffs anytime soon or the World Series. Not a contender. Mahomes going to be a contender for the rest of his career as long as he stays healthy, stays in the good organization. He's going to be great. So, I mean, that's just why I think I would rather take Mahomes.
I mean, you got to look at it one of two ways. From what I've seen, as we know, Trout has gone through at least half of his career already and is already going down as arguably the greatest baseball player of all time. You look at Mahomes, on the other hand, and it's going to be, if he keeps up what he does, he will be the greatest player of all time in the NFL. At that point, it's like that risk you want to take, like, yes, already the greatest baseball player. If I do what I do, I'm probably the most important player in sports in the 2020 decade itself. But if we're looking at it just with that chance and the risk, I'm gonna go with Mahomes.
If I had to choose a career, I would probably choose Trout's career. Like, he's never finished lower than, I think, 4th in MVP voting. He's always up there. He's the best baseball player in the league now. Will go down as probably top 3 baseball player of all time, if not the best. And he's making a lot of money, as is Mahomes. But it's just, for me, it's kind of like that injury risk. Like Trout, Mahomes suffers as a higher injury risk. Is at a higher risk for injury than Trout is because of not only his style of play, but because of the sport he plays.
I mean, you're looking at with Mickey Mantle, hurt himself early and it's like a big what if, but he already had accomplished so much. Trout could injure himself today and end his baseball career today. Knock on wood, he doesn't, but he could, and he'd still go down as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. If Mahomes were to have a career-ending injury tomorrow, he would go down as the biggest what if in sports history. That's where you got to take the risk, but I'm willing to do it.
Well, at least he signed that contract.
Yeah.
Was it $140 million in injury guarantee?
Yeah,
Yep.
something like that.
Might as well break your leg.
It's disgusting.
I mean, when you're looking at it, right, I think we're talking about 2 of the most talented people to ever play their sports. With Mahomes, you have a guy that in his first 3 years has won an MVP and has won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. With Trout, you have a guy that's on path to be the greatest baseball player of all time. Mahomes is, if he keeps it up, is on path to be probably the greatest quarterback of all time. Really, though, I think when it comes down to it for me, I probably would take Trout only because of what he has established already. There's not really that much room for a what-if scenario. And the guy's career, he's already done so much, where Mahomes, if you guys said he breaks a leg, he takes one bad hit, it turns really into a what-if scenario.
I don't know. Personally, the only reason to like change ways for me, and I kind of wish we don't have it in sports like we did, but like like a local kid that like grew up and played there, like I would just take that in a second. Like one of these players is like if Mahomes had grown up in Kansas City or God bless you, Trout had played for the Phillies, like then it's like a no brainer. But I think just Mahomes can go down. It's even more memorable than Trout in his prospective sport if he keeps it up.
Side tangent. I think you can absolutely book it that Trout plays an inning for the Phillies in his career. 100%. 100%.
Unless he gets traded 6 years in his contract, I don't think it's going to happen.
Maybe a 1 year.
When he's 41 or whatever,
Yeah.
like when's his deal and how
That's the
old is he supposed to be?
10 years. However much.
Over 400 mil.
We'll be old, something like that.
He will play. He will play for the Phillies.
I'll tell you what. The only way he doesn't want to play for the Phillies.
Don't
Like
think
I
so.
remember hearing that before. Like he's come out and said he doesn't want to play for the Phillies. He doesn't want to play in front of all his friends and family all the time.
He's settled in LA. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, and like Philly and New Jersey will be his home, but like he'll live here once he retires. But he's staying in LA until his career's over. Either that or he'll find some other championship caliber team. That's like I just don't think Philly's gonna make the move for him.
Well, I guess we'll see in 10 years when Four Corner Sports is the biggest podcast in the world. And
Yeah.
if
We'll
Maddox,
have him on.
Watch out, Dave
Maddox
Boy
is
and
playing a
Barstool
Philly
coming
game.
for you.
yeah, Barstool, Portnoy, going down.
Calling our shot. I like it. So to transition, baseball's return. Baseball is officially coming back. We weren't on to fully discuss the plan, but fully sum it up. 60 games, universal DH, extra innings, guy starts on second, teams are playing in their home ballparks, divisions are expanded, so you have the East, Central, and West. So, for example, the Mets and Phillies divisions combined with the Yankees and Red Sox, Cubs divisions combined with the White Sox, so on and so forth. So, in establishing this plan, MLB has testing protocols. So, basically, they have to be tested twice a week, get the results back, keep being tested twice a week. There's been some lag with this testing. As a result, teams are having to cancel practices. Teams are having to really just shut everything down because they don't know if guys are positive. They don't want to keep putting them at risk. And as a result, guys are opting out. We saw guys like Ian Desmond, saw guys like David Price already opting out to be with their families. So I'll throw it to you guys now. How are you guys taking it all in with how baseball is approaching their return to play scenario?
I think they're doing it in the right way. I mean, I don't even get you started back over on the whole rants about why they couldn't come to agreements. And I mean, they should have been playing by now. But they're taking the right steps to come together and figure everything out. Now it's really just up to the players to say, I'm in or I'm out. And there's going to be testing, and there's going to be a couple of players that are going to pick it up. But if they're smart enough, I mean, I know you guys aren't big fan of soccer fans, but now the Premier League's been back for almost a month now, and no player on any team has picked up the virus since they've gone back into play. Eventually, it weeds itself out because once you're staying in the same places with the same guys and only traveling with people that you know don't have it, it weeds itself out. And yes, early in the baseball season, we might see a big name or two pick it up when he goes right back to camp. But it's going to take a week or two, and by what are we starting at the end of July? By August, September, baseball will be back in full force. No one will be picking it up, and we should be back to where we are.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I can't wait. It's been, 4 months?
What's the start date?
July 24th.
July 23rd.
23rd? Okay. I knew it was in that range. Just wasn't entirely sure.
But yeah, I like how they're doing it. Agree. I think they're doing it the right way. Yeah, they should be playing by now. But we'll also see some more guys probably opt out. It's going to suck, but we'll take what we can get. We got sports coming back. That's all I'm ready for.
I mean, I remember talking about this a few weeks ago when we were talking about just, like, sports in general. I think we were talking about basketball. And, like, oh, yeah, guys are going to have the option to opt out, but, like, they're losing their salary this year. Like, it's just it's their choice. Like, they can obviously do what they want to do, but it's just the kind of, like, thing here. Hey, you're not going to be making money this year. What are you going to do? And plus, you're putting on a show for fans to watch. the people want to watch you play, why not play? I think opting out it's okay. Like I would never opt out, but it's rough to see some guys opt out. But again, like Austin just said, like we'll take what we can get.
Just look at this because I wanted to see it. Oh, David Price is well, at least I don't know how much he's, but the Red Sox are only going to save $6 million at David Price opting out. That could, for what's going on this year, that could be big for an addition, a late addition or something like that, which is going to torture the Phillies. But we'll see.
David Price not on the Red Sox.
Dodgers?
Yeah, he got traded, but Red Sox still paying the contract.
Yeah, I best say because that's fun.
So we all said how we're excited for it to come back, but looking at it from a really just objective point of view, do we see any range of outcome where the season could get shut down? Because I really think that if cases keep spiking the way they have been in states where there are big teams, and even without the teams or in states with cases spiking, they have to travel there. I feel like it could turn into a really dangerous situation where teams aren't going to want to just fly into this hotbed and be like, we got to keep our guys safe. And I feel like that could snowball into causing MLB to be like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. This isn't feasible.
Yeah, you got guys going from city to city, hotel to hotel, here, everywhere. They're going to be touching stuff everywhere they go. So I think there is a shot it could get shut down. And they're still playing in their home cities. They're not in a bubble like Orlando with basketball. So they're still going to be going home to their families. So once that becomes a risk too, you could see players opt out mid-season. And I saw the other day, Zach Wheeler's supposed to have a baby, like right around opening day. So like he's not going to go home to his newborn and give it to him. So you could definitely see it get shut down at some point.
It'll be very interesting. I just hope that the organizations themselves take the proper steps to get these hotels sanitized, cleaned ahead of time, make sure everything's good, make sure their players are staying away from stuff, going where they shouldn't go. And, I mean, organizations have to be on the players as responsible the players should be during all this.
Like, kind of touching up on what Austin said, like, it's not like they're staying in one or two cities and playing every game there. Like, they're going to be traveling all over the country, especially, like, on the East here. Like, you got guys traveling to New York to play baseball. Like, New York has the most amount of cases, I'm pretty sure. Still they do.
Hasn't spiked yet either.
Yeah. It'll be very easy. It could be very easy for them to catch a case there, coronavirus.
Toronto, too. You got to bring it to Canada.
Yeah. And then you got, like, out west, like in LA and, like, everywhere in California. Like, California's recently shut everything down again because of the recent spike they've had. So we'll see. It's definitely interesting. I mean, you still got, like 2.5 weeks till opening day, supposed opening day. So anything can obviously happen. I think if they get shut down again, they'll just have to wait till 2021 to have a season, and that'll probably be shortened as well.
I mean, we're all of us here, just basically sum it up. We're going to hold an optimistic view, but there is a very real possibility that a season isn't in the future for the MLB. And to move on now to not professional level, but collegiate level. So it was reported today that Harvard was moving their classes to online only instruction. Now, us as a sports podcast, you might think, how does that pertain to anything related to sports? Well, the Ivy League is voting on whether or not to have their football season in the fall. No Ivy League can make college football playoff or anything like that. But when some of the most prestigious schools in the country are deciding when to have their football season, people are going to pay attention and listen. And when these schools bring up the possibility of moving football to the spring, everyone's ears are open. So I want to hear what you guys think. What do we think of this possible bombshell of Division I football schools maybe moving a football season to the spring for the first time in, I feel like maybe ever or in a very long time?
Just to piggyback off of what you're saying, Pac, literally this came up maybe 15 minutes ago. I just happened to be, my phone popped up and I saw it, is that the Power 5 leaders, so the Big 5 conferences are saying, we're just in wait and see mode at this point. We're going to wait for things to happen and we're going to make our decision. So the college football decision with the bigger teams isn't going to come for a little while, but it'll be interesting.
I think once
I-
Ivy League goes this spring, most will, because, I don't know, it just seems what's right, I guess. Football, you got a lot of contact every single play. People are going to get it left and right. It's just what's going to happen. So that's just my first thoughts on it.
Football is the second highest at-risk sport with coronavirus besides rugby.
Yeah,
It's just-
I think moving football to the spring would kind of make the spring schedule too congested because you still got the end of basketball season and March Madness in the spring. You got baseball and softball. You got tennis in the spring. You got a lot of stuff in the spring. Plus, in schools down south and out west, like down south in Florida and Alabama and Georgia, like it's gonna be 100 degrees in May. Like you don't want to be playing football in 100-degree weather. It's not fun for anyone. It's not fun to watch. If you're there, it's not fun to play in. I do think, other than Ivy League schools, I think the Power 5 schools at least would have college football in the fall like they're supposed to.
Here's my main thing when it comes to Ivy League maybe moving football, and if that established a precedent, right? So let's say they do vote on it and move football to the spring, and some Power 5 conferences oblige and say, okay, we're going to do the same thing, right? You're really making a very hard decision for the top college football players in the country when it comes to draft time, because when does the draft usually take place? Late April. That's in the middle of the college football season push. So you're going to have guys, let's say, out of the blue this happens this year, right? Well, let's say the entire college football season's moved to the spring. You're going to have a guy like Trevor Lawrence or a guy like Justin Fields being like, okay, I feel like I have enough tape to put myself out there for the draft, right? I have all this tape from my freshman year and my sophomore year to go in the draft and probably get drafted in the high slot. So am I going to put my body on the line and possibly lose millions of dollars for a season that may not even matter? Or am I going to go straight to the draft? And when most guys are faced with this decision, most of them are going to the NFL. It's just football is a sport where in an instant, it can all be taken away from you. Everything. So as a result, college football might lose some of their best players for literally nothing. And I don't think college football wants that. That's why I really don't see it as a feasible option for the sport to move to the spring.
I mean, it's going to look like the bowl game scenarios for top prospects if they don't make the college football playoff. Back in the day, you saw likes of Fournette and McCaffrey sit out their bowl game because it meant nothing to them. You're going to see it out of top players for the entire season because there's no reason for them to play because they're not getting paid to be in college. They're going to classes they probably don't even care about, and now they're just
they're all getting paid in some capacity. Everyone is.
Well, yeah. But
especially the higher known or the well-known guys like Trevor Lawrence.
Not publicly.
Yeah, but they're getting paid.
Probably.
I mean, you know, all these guys have agencies lined up, and when I say lined up, I mean they're probably getting paid already, but under the table.
High school, probably.
But it's like, if guys really got to think about it. I mean, you saw it with it was a while back, but Marcus Lattimore, the stud running back from South Carolina, gruesome leg injury, never was the same again. You saw it with Jalen Smith, who was going to be a top 5 pick as a linebacker, shatters his leg, gets picked in the 3rd round by Dallas, and miraculously made a recovery, but no one thought he would ever be the same player again. So, like Maddox said, you've seen a precedent with guys sending out bowl games because of that scenario. If the season's moved, you're going to see that across the whole season and see the talent level of college athletics, specifically in football, because it'd be the sport that's being moved, decrease a significant amount.
I think we're seeing some of the college football teams kind of do something we kind of joke about. We actually wouldn't mind them doing is kind of I think they knew what they were doing with having these camps already and knowing that there's a good chance a lot of their guys are going to get the virus. 'Cause most likely, I mean, Austin himself has had the virus, and there's a very low chance that he's going to pick it up again. And it's basically that they knew that now they've got 25 guys on the roster not picking it up already through the season. I think they kind of thinking that, like, okay, they get it now, they got plenty of time. We were joking earlier that the big names of the NBA should just kind of see if they can get it now, so come start time, they'll be ready to go. I think that as unsafe as it can be, we've seen a lot of people, at least our ages in the college spot, be like, haven't had many problems with it. Now it's not smart, but it's something that I think some teams have looked at.
I don't think that's feasible at all. I feel like you're putting too much on the line with that sort of line of thinking where you're not. Listen, if you just have to worry about yourself, I still wouldn't even really see the point of it. But you still have to worry about families, like older family members, really young family members. I have to worry maybe, okay, I don't catch this the same person. I get really sick and I can't reach the same level I was at. I just feel like it's hard regardless, and you can't just essentially herd immunity it because you're putting too many people in danger with that line of thinking.
And I'll tell you what, if college football is moved to the spring, schools lose a lot of money. They will lose so much money, especially all the Power 5 schools and the more well-known like Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama. Like they will lose so much money because they rely on football. Like that's what they need. That's how they get their views. It's how that's why a lot of, I know for me, like especially with Auburn, like that's why a lot of kids choose their schools because they're good at football. They like watching football games. And you can't not have football in the fall. It's basically when football's supposed to be played.
Can't be a football school without football.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so summing up that conversation, really just we don't really see how football can be moved to the spring without it really affecting the fans, the athletes, and really the schools in general. Because without football, a lot of these schools really wouldn't have the funds to be thriving the way they are. But to move on to our last topic, the NBA, NHL. I mean, not really too much going on with these sports. We all know the NBA's going to Orlando, finished out the season, saw some images of the courts, how they're looking, look pretty nice. NHL is deciding between two cities. I think I saw either Edmonton or Ottawa, or Vancouver. Basically, they're going through hub cities in Canada, determining which ones are essentially the best. I mean, not really too much to discuss. So, anything else you guys want to talk about with the NBA or NHL?
I just pulled up the list of who opted out. So far, we got Davis Bertans, Trevor Ariza, Avery Bradley, Willie Cauley-Stein, Wilson Chandler, Caleb Swanigan, Tavos Cephalosha, and Victor Oladipo. And then also for the NHL, if they want to opt out, they must tell the teams by Tuesday. So that's tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll see everyone who has chose to opt out, and should be interesting.
No offense to any of those NBA players because, making the NBA is a great accomplishment. But except for Depot, who was injured and, he has that part going to him, none of those players are stars or very notable in themselves. Yes, Avery Bradley is a good role player for the Lakers, but, no big names in the NBA have opted out yet, which I think is very important.
Yeah, the lower players will follow the higher players most of the time. So once they see all the big names staying in, we'll have guys staying in too. There won't be too many opt-outs.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we said this a couple weeks ago too. The big name guys, they all want to play, and everyone will listen to them. Everyone's gonna follow them. So if they're not saying anything, then I doubt that a lot of other guys are gonna start saying anything too. So we'll see. Hopefully, just the virus doesn't pick up too much in Florida, and we still have a season.
Hopefully, the players actually listen to the rules of the bubble. But someone's gonna break it. I'm waiting for that report already.
I guarantee.
On the snitch line?
I guarantee it'd be Kyle Kuzma.
LeBron gets 2-game suspension for going out of Disney World property.
To drink a glass of wine on Taco Tuesday.
I mean,
No,
they have an entire snitch line for that. So
I'm not that surprised, and I can't wait for that snitch line to give us false reports to talk about. When some low level guy in the Lakers is reporting Kawhi Leonard before the conference finals for leaving to go see his crew somewhere. I don't know, but like you're just gonna see that there's gonna be so many false ones because players are like that, and it's terrible, but it's something that I wouldn't be too surprised to see with false reports like that.
I don't know. I feel like these guys have a lot of respect for each other, and they wouldn't do that just to get him out of a game. Like, and plus having those big names like having a guy like Kawhi or LeBron in the game makes it more competitive and more fun to be in. But that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah.
all right, so that's gonna wrap it up for us on this episode of Four Corner Sports. Make sure to subscribe and like our pages on social media. Stay tuned for more episodes and maybe a little bit of some different content that we will come up with and try to bring to you guys. But for Austin Kane, Gabe Arena, Zach Maddock, and myself, thank you for joining us. And like I always say, catch you on the flip side.
Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever else we're on. Go follow us, like, subscribe, tell your friends.